16 hot dogs, 16 days, and 16 stories. This is 16 for 16. I'm Mary Bowers, a Korean-American adoptee and competitive eater. I'm about to step onto the biggest stage in all of world sports, the Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest at Coney Island, New York. And this time, I'm bringing some of my friends along the way to share their stories. Welcome back, our storyteller Chae. Today, we're going to catch up and answer the question, what is home?
What about the Korean aspects of yourself? And do they feel like part of you? Do they feel like they're kind of floating around you on the periphery? At any point, has there been resistance to the Korean?
Yeah, and this is a process I'm going through right now. For me, in terms of identity, I resisted my Korean identity for basically all of my life. I grew up in an environment where it wasn't safe for me to associate with my Asian identity. The effect that had on me growing up and then the formation of my identity is that I not only would resist and distance myself from that my Korean identity, there was also an aspect of me being inherently racist towards Korean people, Asian people in general, but also myself. And that was a protective thing for me. If all I knew was that my race was a source of my pain and some of the things that had happened to me. And this process now of going to Korea and trying to experience Korean culture has been challenging because changing that overnight is not something that can just happen. It's inherently a part of who you are. And it's been a process recently of me needing to check myself. I have my own biases and reservations when it comes to Korea. I think there was something that happened the other day was a friend of mine was watching a Korean drama and telling me all of these things about this Korean drama. And for me, there was a resistance to that straight away. I still haven't got there with Korean drama or Korean music, and I want to be able to experience that and with an open mind. But when I break it down and when I am more self-compassionate to myself, the reality is that I don't believe that I am a racist person. I have that compassion and that love and empathy for everyone. When it comes to my Korean identity, it's all come from a place of fear. And when I rationalize or when I compassionately think around my life experience and the things I had to face and where that is now, it's just been a protective measure from protecting me from something that I thought or I believe that was going to be harmful to myself. There's been times of my life where I have definitely probably overcompensated and leaned towards my Australian identity. Now it's a process of this is not something that can hurt me anymore, and growing to love Korea. It's been a slow process, but it's also been a process of loving myself as well, because I am Korean and that's always going to be a part of me. And this is a process of accepting that part of me and part of myself.
I would say for me, I realized out of all the places that I've traveled, I do like to consider myself as open-minded and accepting of everybody. But when it comes down to it, all of us are functioning within a system that we didn't build or create. And so as a product of that, I do think that people who are very open and caring people can still do racist things sometimes. And so I try and keep that in check for myself. I try and keep that in mind. But there's so many things that go into the conditioning around race and identity and acceptance. I think the important thing is to really take it with a dose of humility, that we're given a certain set of playing cards, and how we play them or we don't is up to us. Korea is very different, at least in my experience, than other countries, because I learned how uncomfortable identifying as Korean made other people around me. Then I accepted the American side, and I love the American side. I mean, she's a little off her nut, but she's fun. And I love that. By rejecting the Korean piece and making it wrong, by extension, it makes Korea wrong. And there's no other country on the planet where that's been the active part of conditioning and practice. And like you were saying, like it's years of a belief system that suddenly has to be undone. I think you're in for a very memorable trip.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And, I think it's going to be appealing in a way that I probably can't fully reckon with at the moment. And I'm excited for the trip. I have to be honest, and when I connect with that child part of me, there's a lot of fear there, and there's a lot of that's part of the journey. And I have spoken to a lot of other Korean adoptees from all over the world now, and when they speak around this journey and my experience and your experience, they're not in isolation. It's not to say that that's everyone's experience, but from what I have learned from others is that this is a process of not only loving, your roots and where you come from, but also learning to love yourself. I struggle to think at times around, the fun parts of this trip. A lot of it's like, oh shit, I'm going to Korea. This is happening. I think about some of the things that are important for me to see that aren't fun, like, my adoption agency. I want to see a baby box. I want to go to the War Museum, because I know that these things are significant in a way that ultimately, things all interlink, right? I need to get to a place where I think about the fun things. That I like music, so let's go and experience music in Korea, or food, or all the things that I love about life.
What kind of music do you make?
I don't make any music, but I'm a big lover of music, especially live music. I think there's just something special around seeing an artist that you love, often with around people that you love, and also the idea of you connect with music and then you're in a place surrounded by other people, and the commonality there is your love for music, right? I think there's something always that's special about that. So
I feel like you would be short in your experience if you missed out on the noraebang. That is music of a different kind.
Okay, Norabun.
Yes, the fun part about it is they changed the background music so nobody sounds good. People who are professional musicians who are friends of mine, I'm like, that was the worst thing I've heard in my life. But it's so much fun because the videos never match the music. And you hear the drunk parties in the rooms around you. And definitely, I think something I would recommend. You can pay by the song too. You don't have to go for like the whole night.
That sounds amazing. I think that's something I've never really done karaoke, but I think there's something really appealing about just going and singing and not caring about how things come out. You're just doing it for the love
it's much better if you have enough soju in your system so you're not all self-conscious about it and you think you sound better than you do, but like guaranteed nobody sounds good. But it's amazing because you can make some memories with your friends and the people you care about.